So, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, I'm sorry that I was delayed. Probably there was a problem with this Zoom software in my laptop, though it works every time. But without wasting much of the time, let me start today's discussion. And of course, it is very good to note that we have this sort of series where we are connecting the scholars of Ummah. And it is very high time that we have to do something extra, something more when we come to this particular research journey. So let me start with this, probably this, I think this may be this session may be a repeat to some of those people who are already into the research. But yes, but proper methodology is very much needed, which usually people do not follow. And that leads to some of the problems in the research. Okay. So here is my plan. I'll just talk about some of the slides. I'll skip it because probably I would like to concentrate more on the most important aspects. Okay. Research motivation. We talk about some skills. We talk about types of research. And the most important will be the challenges in research and research methodology and ethics in research. We spend more time on that, okay, by leaving all those sort of things. But if you see the figure on the right-hand side, that is exactly a figure which I got for you all. Like, if you see there is a straight line, you have a plan, a research, you have action, you have observe, you have reflect. But usually what happens is the people are not doing this research with respect to these particular concepts, but they do it people start once they get an advertisement of a particular research or a PhD program. They apply it. Then they get, somehow if they get admission, they just keep quiet. They keep quiet till they have their pre-PhD or some seminar and so forth. Then again, they get up. That's how we go. We go in a linear fashion. That is the straight line, what you're able to see on the right-hand side. But actually, research is not like that. Research is what we say in our software language. It's iterative and incremental. It's an incremental. So you're able to see some incremental circles there. Okay, 2 are specified here. So you start with a small increment. We'll talk about it in our slides. You plan for that. You do the action. You observe it. You reflect, and you repeat this cycle till these particular small chunks. You are able to prove it in your research. That is the first thing which I would like to tell you all. Okay. As one of the person says, research is what I am doing when I don't know what I am doing. We'll not talk about it. Usually, these are the motivations people do this. Earlier, there was some motivation, some intrinsic motivation was there, but now, because of the government pressure, the PhD is mandatory. I think from this year, PhD is very much mandatory for all the academic institutions. And of course, it is also mandatory at some research institution as well. Okay. So what is research? Okay, research you need to think about with respect to the research which we are going to do in this dunya, but we have to also reach the ultimate goal of Akhirah. Okay, so that we have to research our Almighty to reach Him and of course to gain the success in this world and hereafter. So research is go back and search until we find and explore. Search for a knowledge. I'll take this particular definition. Research is search for knowledge. Okay. And moreover, importantly, it's a systematic effort to gain new knowledge. Probably think both these words, both in terms of dunya as well as deen. That is what is important. We need to search for knowledge. We need to do the systematic effort to gain new knowledge. This is what is research all about. Okay. Now let me come to our more academic research or research what we do here. Specifically, it's mostly search for knowledge. And we all are very good searchers, I believe. I think all are, probably every day person will go to a Google so many times, the survey says. That is, you always search something or other. Okay. But ultimate thing is nothing but, like it happens that the very first thing is you search for some papers. That is very much fine. But you restricted your search only to this particular Google. It should not be. There are some other search engines we need to try for it. You can try Yahoo, you can try web crawler, you can crawl up meta crawler. You can try any other search engine. Don't restrict yourself to the Google. That is the first thing. So we'll go ahead. So these are some of the things. It is a search for knowledge as we discussed. But most importantly, it is a scientific and systematic search. Okay. For an information on a specific topic. So one is just search, like everybody does it. Okay. Even any person who is not doing PhD also does the search today in Google. Okay. People use a lot of apps to just search for some address and so forth. But here in research, we require a scientific and systematic search. We'll see how to do that. Okay. It's an art for scientific investigation. So here, shortage of time, I'll talk about these searches right here. And there I'll just point out where we have to do it. So very first thing what we do in the research is those who have in the beginning of the research, for them, I would like to say that you start usually with something called a survey paper. First of all, identify your area of work. Now that is very much important. Now these days, just because of there are some boom words which are there, like if you see, we had a talk before this talk on IoT and smart cities and so forth. And just because the smart cities is there talked about today, it cannot be my area of research. The area of research is that particular part where you are very much good into that basics, fundamentals of it, so that you have sufficient background knowledge to go into the advanced research for it. And we do not have any knowledge of it, and you want to do the research in that becomes a very big problem. Okay, so that is the first thing, choosing your area of research is very much important. And once you choose your area, the second thing what you do is you search for a survey paper. Now we have one type of paper called survey paper. Now again, let me tell you, there are some survey papers which are very badly written, very badly written. So you need to search your survey papers. In number one, you can make a note of it, ACM surveys. ACM surveys. ACM is Association of Computing and Machinery. I think you all know IEEE. There is something called ACM as well. So ACM surveys, you can go to the ACM surveys, just Google it. It starts with cacm.acm.in, where you can go and search for your topic and search for survey paper. Now, how do you go for a survey paper? Let us talk about the last talk, which was smart cities. I say survey on smart cities is a one particular keyword. I say smart cities a survey, smart cities : a survey is another type of search. Okay, I also say the research and research challenges in smart cities today, research gaps, research issues, all these keywords, different keywords we need to search, and that's what we do not do it. Okay, and you search for a survey paper, first thing in the research methodology. Search for a survey paper. Okay, so once you search this particular survey paper, the first thing in research, which starts with R for research, is nothing but read. And of course, you know very well, the first ayah which was, which was nazil on Huzur Sallallahu was, Iqra, read. And research also starts with read. You have to read it. And of course, if you do not read, you cannot do the research at all. Okay, so you need to read those survey papers. How you have to read? As if it was written by you. You own it. Okay, and survey paper is usually a big paper in number of pages. Do not read survey papers which are written in the predatory journals. International Journal of Information Technology, something, where the survey paper is of 6 to 7 pages. 6 to 7 pages cannot be a survey paper. A survey paper is usually a very big paper, very huge paper. Maybe, of course, 20 pages minimum. Sometimes I could find survey papers about 40 to 60 pages as well. You need to read it. Once you read it, you need to identify the points, highlight the points. Number one, highlight all contributions, what people have done. Number two, highlight all gaps or challenges or future work which people have mentioned. You have to maintain a research diary, and you have to write this name of the survey paper in the first part. You have to write contributions in the second part, all the challenges what you identified right in the third part. Don't worry much about the research problem at this stage. So you need to do this particular exercise. So you need to read a research paper, that is survey paper. Only one survey paper may not be sufficient. Okay, if it is a very good survey paper, so usually we get a survey paper, I only told you one source called ACM surveys. You can also get a particular survey from, that is survey papers from IEEE transactions. Go to IEEE transactions, search for your area of work, and you go for this particular survey paper. Read these survey papers very carefully. Now what happens is once you complete your survey paper, in your third part of your diary, you have highlighted several problems in this particular area, research problems. They could be many. Maybe there could be some 7 to 8 research problems. Okay. Now you need to identify which particular research problems. First of all, out of these research problems, you may not work on all the 7 to 8 in your PhD. What you need to do, you need to work on 1 or 2. Identify that. Number one, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to identify what work has been done after this particular survey was published. What are the other contributions which people did it? Okay, so how do you do this? So again, next one more pointer I'm going to give it here is nothing but what you need to do is you need to see what work has been done by taking this survey paper as a reference by the researchers. So for that reason, For this reason, what you need to do is nothing but you need to go for Google author search, okay, which is a scholar search. You say scholar.google.com, go for scholar.google.com. There type the name of that particular author who has written this particular survey paper. And most importantly, the first name of the author. Okay, first author. There may be many authors. You can write the first author name. So you can go to scholar.google.com. There you write the name of this particular author who has written the survey paper. So there in Google, probably we can see it. Okay, time permits, I'll show you. You are able to see the citations of that particular paper, how many times it was cited. Now, for example, it says it has been cited for some 10 times or 50 times. Open that 50 papers and see which are those particular areas out of those listed has been addressed in it. Sometimes it may happen all have been addressed. Okay. So you need to now identify which particular problems have been addressed least or not yet addressed. So that particular problem becomes the basic research problem. So today the need is nothing but not the extension work, but to identify the basic research problem. And that's the main motto of this particular talk, where we should be in a position to identify the basic research problem. Even though we are already researchers, okay, there are many I have seen in this particular forum, there are already many PhDs, but still, whatever work we are going to do in future could do like this. So that's what I was talking about search. That's how you need to do the search. So research comprises of defining and redefining problems. Number one, defining, it's not only defining, you have to redefine the problems. So research problem, you need to take a lot of time, you have to do some sufficient amount of survey. And while reading one survey paper may not be sufficient, it may be referring to some other paper. So you go to the reference section, take that paper, and again, read that particular paper and so forth. You have to formulate hypothesis, which you have to prove it to solve that particular problem. A particular problem has to be solved, so we cannot solve at a time. You have to divide it into several hypotheses. Testing, okay. You have to collect data, evaluate the data. Then you have to reach your conclusions. You have to carefully test the conclusions to determine whether it fits the hypothesis what we have formed. Don't worry about it, we'll talk about this. But the aim of the research is very much important. Find the solutions to the unsolved issues. Please do not find the solutions to the solved issues. Aim of the research is to find the solutions to the unsolved issues. Yeah, these are the research skills. We require some of the research skills: thinking, technical communication, problem finding. I talked about problem finding just now. But apart from that, you require some problem solving skills. Like, I do not know the number of people from which background, but most of our computer science people, they like this problem solving and experimentation skills. They hardly do this experimentation. They want to just make some of the particular, ideas based on the existing ideas, take some data, some data which is available, test same thing on that and get some results. No, we really require problem solving capability. Critical thinking and creative thinking is needed. I think these forums will help you in doing this critical and creative thinking so that your particular ideas have been realized properly. In addition, we also require a lot of technical communication skills, that is oral, written, because writing is very much important. Ultimately, what happens is if you do a lot of work, but you are not able to present it, then it is waste. And publishing and patenting, I would like to highlight maybe in last 5 minutes about the patenting aspect, which is very much important for Ummah today, specifically in our country, where we need to highlight our contributions and show that we contribute. And time management should be there, because people usually do not manage this time and they do not work at all. And suddenly they wake up when they have deadlines. That doesn't work. You need to have a lot of time management. We'll talk about it. And ethics has played an important role. And of course, for people of us, we people, nobody has to teach us ethics. Okay, if we are on our right path, then there's no problem with the ethics at all. Because ethics says you should not copy others' work. Yes, it is right. You cannot copy others' work. Yes, and there are some other things. We'll talk about that in ethics. So these are some of the skills, and most of the skills, okay, people from Ummah may have this, and some of the things we need to develop it. Just to go to this particular, you can take a snapshot. You can just visit the State Library of Victoria to learn more about these particular skills. Okay. I'll not talk about motivation, etc., because one is you are forced to do the PhD, as I said. One you get with your own interest. Okay. Sometimes you have somebody, you are actually affected with somebody who is doing research. I should also do it. There are various parameters. I don't want to discuss on that. I'll directly go to this particular part, types of research. Usually, people are confused with this particular thing slide. So I'll not discuss this quite in detail, but let me go to their definitions. First of all, applied research. Applied research aims at finding solutions for immediate problems faced by the society. I think we people have to do this. Okay. Apart from our PhD, I think forums like this has to form groups where we need to find the solution to the immediate problems. And these solutions should come from, our community. Okay, the Ummah should give this particular solution so that the people who are, who feel bad about us will try to understand that this community is getting the immediate problem faced by the society. So I appeal to all here, apart from your academic research, please try to, work on to the immediate problems faced by the society, which is the need of the hour. Then that is said to be applied research. We have a fundamental research, which is pure research. So the first one is also said to be action-based research. So fundamental research concerned with generalization, with formation of theory. Okay, that is, you get a theory here. You have, of course, research concerning some pure mathematics. It's all about theory. Research also here, it also includes human behavior carried out with view to make generalization of human behavior. Some fundamental research in terms of COVID and all was done based upon the human behavior when they were in the lockdown situation. Okay, and the end result doesn't, that is, have immediate benefit like it happened. Like, for example, talk about our mobiles, what we are using. The paper was written in 1935, which was a fundamental research, but there was no immediate benefit. It came after a long time. We have a descriptive research, but some of the, you do a lot of surveys, you collect a lot of data. Okay, but you don't have control over variables. You have to report the changes, what you have collected over a period of time, descriptive research. Then you have analytical research. Researchers uses already available information. Specifically today, people talk about a lot of data analysis, machine learning and all. They usually use a lot of available data to make the crucial decisions. Then you have quantitative research based on the measurements. You usually go to the lab, you go to the places, measure the things, like the previous talk about the smart cities. You have sensors, so you measure those particular values. Based on that, you apply some analytics and get some results and so forth. So qualitative research refers to description of entity. You do not have a quantitative measure. You have just scaling or good, bad, and so forth. I think by this moment of time, you all will be confused what we need to do. Again, we have a conceptual research, okay, based on most abstract ideas. And the important one is empirical research. Even if you did not get everything, please see that today the need of the hour is empirical research. It is based on experience and observation. It is data-oriented. It is based on experience and observation. These three things you need to remember when we want to prove your research problem. Okay. It is data-oriented research which helps in achieving solutions to the research problems through experiments is what empirical research is needed. And if you can see this slide, probably interested, you can take this snapshot. And anyhow, there is a forum I can share these PPTs as well. So this is the way you need to really look into it. I'll spend a minute on this. First, probably when I do my research, I need to check whether my data is numerical, what data I'm going to get to solve this particular research problem. Is it a numerical or a narrative data? Assume that it's a numerical, because most of the cases it is numerical today. When it is a numerical, then you have to identify whether it is a cause-effect relationship. I think you know the causes. You have all causes. Cause 1 and cause 2 put together may get an effect. For example, a person is suffering from headache and fever, say, and he has some viral fever. So headache and fever is a cause. Viral fever is a particular effect. So that is said to be a cause-effect relationship. And if there is a cause-effect relationship, you have to say independent variable manipulated. That is, if I change fever, if I change this particular cough, whether it will affect. Okay, if it is not affecting, it is cause comparative research. Otherwise, it is experimental research. Likewise, the researchers are classified into experimental research, causal comparative research, correlational research, where there is a relationship between them, and there is a descriptive research. And again, let me tell you, you may not bother about this category at all. And this is nothing but a research process, traditional research process. What you do, you used to define a research problem directly. This happens even today. Though the engineering research doesn't do directly like this, but there are some researchers, there are some supervisors who have a research problem directly with them. So they directly give a research problem to the candidate. Okay, then you then you do the literature survey to see what people have already done in this particular problem. Okay, but this said to be a traditional software, that is the social science research process. It usually doesn't apply to the engineering and the technology just because research problem is ready-madely not available. But if it is available, then you will see what has been already done to solve this problem. Then you formulate hypothesis. Please try to understand it. Okay, because research problem, when it is already there, you can formulate the hypothesis. Based on the hypothesis, you design your solution, you collect the data, you analyze the data, you interpret, and you go on proving all the hypotheses one after the other. So this process is repeated. And of course, once you have reported, again, you check whether your all research problems have been addressed. These are traditional, that is, research process. But there are certain challenges in this sort of process. So I want you all to just look into this. The first challenge is time overrun. Okay. Just after these challenges, I am going to get a slide. That will be your final slide. Okay. Because of the shortage of time, I'll come to that slide and there I'll ask you to do something. And probably everybody does that. The first challenge is a time overrun. Okay. I think that image will help you understand, and it is really interesting. I'm taking this in lieu of your payment because payment was not made. So probably that person is taking all the utensils, everything of the house maybe. So what happens here? Time overrun comes into picture because of lack of planning. I have seen, okay, usually we researchers do not plan it properly because of other priorities. That is one problem. Second is communication gap between team or between team members, or I can say between research scholar and supervisor in the academic circumstances. Usually do not speak, do not know what the supervisor is happening. The supervisor is doing. The students have just a particular that my supervisor doesn't do anything. But on the other hand, the student doesn't, go and interact with the supervisor at all. So here, probably if you see, there is a calculator, research calculator. So I urge all those people, all the people who are interested in to go to this calculator, lib.umn.edu/help/calculator, go to this link and you write a date when you are going to start your research journey and when it is to end. When you write these two dates, this particular calculator will give you the entire timetable. It says the literature survey should be completed by this time. You can also connect it to your mobile and it gives you reminders as well. This is free. This is a research calculator. The second one is a dissertation calculator. So give us, for example, you want to start today. Okay, say you want to start on 10 January 2021. You want to complete your academic research by maybe say 2024. Just write 31st December 2024 and say, go, you get all the details. And every details every part is again detailed. What you have to do in every such section, you have very lot of new notes is available. So I urge, probably to manage that, you can just look at it so that initially you can plan for it. These are again very important problems. Incorrect problem identification. This is a very, very tricky problem. This happens usually when you do not do proper literature survey. And of course, it happens that, you end up with solving these solved problems. Like some of the theses we do reject it these days, just because it doesn't have the main research problem at all. It's incorrect. It has been solved long back. So maybe positively what we understand is proper literature survey was not done. So I told you, right, how to do the literature survey. First in your broad area. You can do in the broad area first, then you go to the sub areas as well. But you identify all the issues and challenges, gaps, future work, write it. Okay. Then you have to see what work has been done after publication of that survey paper till date by following those particular citations. Read it, identify those particular areas which has not been addressed, because when you identify research problem today, specifically in academia, where you can at least submit it at least minimum in 3 years, not less than that. So that problem should exist for the next 3 years. So that's where you need to follow this particular process. So the next challenge is incorrect problem identification. And the third one is lack of domain knowledge. I already talked about it. Don't select a particular area where you do not have any knowledge about that particular area. It happened with one of the students who came and he said that I would like to work in this particular machine learning, and later on when we evaluated, doesn't know learning also. That's the problem. So lack of knowledge of allied subjects. So once you have identified your area also, please try to identify certain allied subjects and you start reading it parallelly. For example, today you want to do in machine learning, AI and so forth. So ultimately you should have a knowledge of statistics. You should require some knowledge of natural language processing. may not be the entire statistics. At least the important part of those particular statistics needed for your work. So lack of knowledge of allied subjects will lead to a problem as such you need to identify. And just for a lighter end of the side, dining philosopher's problem, that is incorrect problem identification. I think people might have already read it. And the real dining philosopher problem is who is going to pay the bill. It was not, but that's how the problem was identified. Okay. Then prerequisite subjects not properly identified. Again, that is what is there. For example, I did machine learning, but I did not know the prerequisite subjects of it. I do not know anything about data mining. I do not know anything about databases. That also becomes a particular problem. So these are the problems we need to address it now. So we need to go for our research methodology. What should be our research methodology? A systematic approach to find solutions to the unsolved problem. So it has to specify some steps. I'll talk about that particular thing. And the last point is important. Social science research methodology doesn't directly apply to the computer science and IT research because they have directly a problem. Here we may not have a problem directly. We need to first identify the research problem. Now this slide is the most important one. And after this slide, there are certain questions which we all need to answer. First step, do the literature survey in broad area. And I've already written that. You can go for elsewhere. You can go for Google. You can go for IEEE Explore. You can go for CSUR, which is ACM surveys, etc. Okay. Then you can also say, there is, for example, you have a broad area. You just said security issues in cloud computing. Then specific area, do you want to do an authentication or so forth? Then you can again say research problem. Formulate a research problem. I already told you how to do this. Okay. How to search and how to form a research problem. Then you have to go for finding solutions step by step. This word called steps actually forms the hypothesis. Okay, the hypothesis. We have to prove several hypotheses. Or in general terms, these are contributions. Okay. So, and I think if probably people can understand me, if you are able to give your contributions very well at this stage, your research can be completed very fast. This is my problem. To address this problem, I will go with the contribution 1. This does this. Contribution 2 does this. Contribution 3 does this. And these contributions put together is actually solving my problem, research problem. Then what you do, you can do for solution of the first contribution. You simulate it. Okay. You have to identify certain simulation tools. If not, you have to do the simulation. You may have to write programs sometimes. Okay. You have to repeat this process until all your solutions are proved or hypotheses are proved. And importantly today, if you have only simulations, if you have real test bed, no issues. But if you have a simulations, nobody is going to accept only simulation. Then you require a formal proof for each of these hypotheses. Mathematical proof for your particular solutions. You can apply some logic theory and so forth to prove it, or any other techniques whichever is available in your domain. But in general, you have to prove it mathematically, specifically when you are simulating the things. Of course, when you're doing on the test bed, you may not have to do the formal proof. And always you need to compare the results with the contributions in the same domain. This is another one. When you do the literature survey specifically in the specific area, you need to also identify the contributions which are done in the same domain so that you can compare it with them. So I repeat, literature survey in broad area, a specific area, formulating a research problem, finding solutions, simulating and repeating this and doing the formal proof. Yeah, shortage of time. Here is the question. And I want to know, I request everyone to answer these questions. I'll end my talk with these solutions because it's very much near to Zohar Salah. So what is the research problem you aim to solve? I think if you are interested, you can take this pick. What is the central research question? Okay. What will we know after completion of your work that we did not know before? Why does it matter? How can you satisfy the research community about your solution? While answering this question to your research problem, also think about our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in answering these particular questions. Okay. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to think in that particular direction as well. So what is the research problem you aim to solve? What is the central research question? What do you want to find out? Okay. What will we know after completion of your work that we did not know before? That is what is different, what is novel. Why should someone care about this research? If you write an algorithm, if you do your PhD, is it beneficial? And if it is not beneficial, are we not wasting our time? Same thing is with our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever we are doing it, whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is caring us, will He care us for the things what we are doing? We need to really think about that. We have, of course, dual responsibilities in this case. So I urge probably the organizers also to take this particular problem statement forward where we can help the community in answering this question. If you are able to answer these 5 questions, you are able to justify your problem statement. And please think in the other lines which I said, and of course, pardon me if I went a little bit more. Methodology, how do you plan to conduct the research? You need to decide it well before. Is it experimental or theoretical? And if it is a simulation, what will be my mathematical proof I am going to do it? How will you know that you have succeeded? Okay, you have to stop somewhere, right? What is your plan? Demonstrate validity. How will you know that you have succeeded? Okay, what is the parameter of a success in this world and hereafter? We do say that. So what is the parameter of a success in this particular research journey? Explain briefly why your approach is appropriate in context of your work. That is, whenever you are thinking about a solution, please do not think about one solution. Think about multiple solutions to that. And you also justify why you have selected this particular solution, why you have not selected the alternatives, and what happens if I take this particular alternatives. This is the methodology. These 3 questions to be answered. I repeat, first 5 questions for the problem statement, 3 questions for the methodology and related work. Briefly summarize the 4 most important publications for your research. Of course, I go a little bit ahead. I'll say 4 to 10, not only 4. Some about 10 people who have worked in that particular area, because you need to see how you have improved with them, how you can compare with them, and so forth. And how has this work actually related work influenced your work? Now, what happens is sometimes people say it's my research problem. I identified this research problem. No. Actually, you get motivated with some of the problems which have been specified earlier. Okay. You might have read my paper, and by reading that paper, you might have got a particular problem in your mind. Oh, I can do like this. This could be the research problem. So in that case, you actually got the influence from my work. So that has to be specified. And what is better or different in your work? Always don't say better. This is again a big problem with today's researchers. They usually give a particular experimentation result. Sometimes it may be correct. I'm not saying it's wrong. So what they do is they'll say, my approach is always better. My approach is always better in all characteristics. May not be. Can somebody has a very good work? Please, you have to acknowledge it. Yeah. So these are the questions you need to identify. So this was my research process, formulate a research problem, conceptualize a research design, construct an instrument for data collection, select a sample, collect the data, process and visualize the data, and writing a research report. Yeah, I'll just skip all this. These are some of the choice, wrong choice of topic, wrong choice of guide, diverse of guide by the researcher, diverse of research scholar by the guide, unable to judge the quantum of work. You do not take a very big research problem. It should be vertical. Failing to give reference to others is plagiarism. Postponing publications of new findings. Whenever you get an idea, if it's very good, please go for a publication. Okay. Incomplete literature survey may lead to reinventing the wheel. We already discussed it. Okay. Fear of not meeting deadlines and so forth. Right. So these are some of the references. Of course, I'll just stop here and I take questions from you. Probably, of course, because of shortage of time, we did fast, but let us see that we can do something in our journey.
Jazakallah, Dr. Saab. Can I request the participants, if they have questions, you can open your mic and then ask, or if you wish to type the questions in the chat box, you can ask the questions. We can take the questions for a few minutes.
Yeah, and here is the email ID. You could write to us, and probably we can have some other sessions on publications as well. We'll discuss more in detail.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saab. I have a question.
Yeah.
Just give your intro also a little bit.
Okay. I'm Izhar Khan. I'm doing PhD in aerospace engineering in IIT Kanpur. 3.5 years now. So currently, I'm writing my first paper. So I have a doubt regarding writing. I have quite a bit of data now, and my supervisor suggests that include all your results and aim for a good paper.
Yeah.
But the data which I have, what idea I get is maybe I can write 2 papers and aim for slightly lesser valued journals. But since I have huge data, if I listen to what he says, the number of pages may go to 50 or something. So little bit confusion is there. Can you put some light in this thing?
Yeah, actually, I did understand a little bit because there was some breakage. I think so. You have done some work and you have a lot of data and so forth, but you say that you can write more than one paper. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. But your supervisor is saying to write one paper or what?
Yes, exactly. And he's asking me to aim for a better journal.
See, brother, that is right actually. If you see, there is 2 things here. One is number of papers, another is a single paper with good quality. If you want to go for a good paper, and specifically I urge you, because I didn't talk about publications and probably we'll take up in next one. You aim for a SCI journal. SCI, so you are from which particular stream?
I am from aerospace engineering.
Okay, so you can go for SCI paper, SCI or SCIE.
Science citation, right?
Science Citation Index.
Okay, those journals which we are aiming are already SCI journals.
Okay.
But among them itself, there's an option of going for a journal including all my results, or going for 2 papers, dividing my results.
Yeah, it's better to, even I agree, it's better to go for a single paper with a journal with more impact factor. With a journal with more impact factor, actually, they want a total findings, actually. Usually what they do is when they say subset of findings, usually they do not accept it. In that case, it is there. But later on, when extending your work, you can publish more papers. Because today, rather than the quantity, the quality is more important. So if you put all that work in one place, it will have more visibility. Tomorrow, what happens is when you want to, today, publication is not a problem at all. But impact of research is very much important. So tomorrow you may get more citations because entire work is at one place.
Okay.
So I feel that if you put everything in one place, future it will be advantage. Today you may get one less number, but in future what happens is people may cite your paper more, and your H index, I10 index will be of course deciding your impact of research. So today even government asks impact of your research. So in that case your impact will be more. But if you divide that to, I think the total number of citations will be less. That is what is our experience as well.
Okay, Dr. Saab.
Salaam sir. This is Dillar Hussain from Central Institute of Rajasthan.
Okay.
This is my second year of my PhD.
Okay.
So when we are going to formulate, for example, some researchers or some scholars identify smallest through their literature review, they find the smallest research point, and they solve it.
Okay.
Is this a correct way, or we will, or we should go through the broad way and identify list of problems? Then we have to solve it. Which way is the correct way?
See, the correct way is first you go with the broad way.
Okay.
Because what happens is if you take only the small part, by the time you complete your work, many people might have already done. Yes. So that small part, what you are taking is not a basic research problem. We talk about something called a basic research problem. Basic research problem in the sense, a research problem which should be existing, okay, for at least 3 years of time. So better to start with a broad work, then you go with some space. There is the sub parts of it and identify the research gap in it.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Oh, for example, I'm giving some, sir, references that this paper published in this journal, highest impact factor, which contain the highest impact factor.
Okay.
That is okay, sir. But some teachers said that this is an old paper. Why you are taking this one? So,
so the answer to that is nothing but if that particular paper has specified certain research gap.
Yes, sir.
Then what you need to do is what has been done, who are the people who referred this work and what they did till now.
Yes, sir.
So what you can do is you can go to, as I said, scholar.google.com, write the name of that particular author and check that paper, how many references are there. Say there are 5 are there. The 4th or 5th one may be some 2020 or 2020 itself.
Yes,
Then you can say, even if that is speaking about that particular gap, you can justify it. So that's the reason what you can do. You can also go for a review paper, survey paper and review paper to identify it. And if somebody says it is very old work, then you can say that after that people have done this particular work till 2020, but this particular part was not addressed till date. And that's my research problem.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other questions are there by any other participant? Okay, if there are no questions, I think we can conclude because we are running short of time also. So from the MFRD, on behalf of MFRD, I'm very much thankful to Professor Salman Abdul Moiz Saab for delivering the talk on research methodologies. Very interesting. Many of the things which are new to me, even though I have completed my PhD and guided research scholars as well. So Jazakallah sir for that. And I request the participants, if they have the questions, then you can send in the WhatsApp group also. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah. He is part of that WhatsApp group. So inshallah, hopefully we'll be able to share the experiences. Okay.
Yeah, I'll share that PPT on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, sir is willing to share the PPT.
Because there was
there is one request.
Yes,
there is one request that your session we have recorded actually. So
okay.
If you allow us, then we'll put it in public space.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
We have a YouTube channel, Multiverse.
Okay.
We'll after processing we'll put it on that.
Right. Sure. Sir.
Okay. Jazakallah. Jazakallah everyone. Again, every 15 days we are going to conduct these type of talks on various research areas. If you wish to have any particular topic, you please send us. If we get the if we get a particular, the resource person for your area, then obviously we'll try to arrange our best. Okay. And someone is asking the WhatsApp number. Yeah, you can send it to my number 9740. I'll just type it here. You send just a WhatsApp message to me, then inshallah I will add it to the group. Okay. So this is my number which I have typed in this. So you just send a message, inshallah we'll add you to the group. Okay. Okay, Jazakallah.